Hey everyone, welcome to another video review. This is the Transformers Adamas Machina AMT-01 Rodimus. The first in a new line, you can see him there in front of his box. We'll go ahead and put him off to the side real quick and take a look at said box. And yes, well, it's very different. Yeah, Adamas Machina right there, and Harkar Tomy, and AMT-01 and Transformers, and T-Spark, because that's a new thing right there, and the Adamas Machina logo right there, and also collaboration with Flames Toys, because this is based on the Flames Toys figure that came out a couple years ago. And on the top you have AMT-01 and all that stuff, and on the side here the AMT-01 Rodimus, and hit there in the background. Same thing on this side as well, except with a different shot of Rodimus. And on the bottom you have some warnings and ages 15 and up, and some copyright stuff, I guess, and made in China, and blah 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 blah, and what's included, I guess, in the box. So there you go on that. And on the back you have some product shots and whatnot, and there's some blurbs down here that I can't read a whole lot of. Kudokadakuri. Yeah. That's the box. Included with him is, of course, the instructions, which, are pretty straightforward because he's not exactly too difficult to deal with as a whole. He's actually he's surprisingly simple, and that's not a bad thing. He's actually, considering what he is. Because, yeah, this is basically an IDW Rodimus, right? And, yeah, they did a really good job with the car mode. I mean, yeah, it's kind of like, it's very Cybertronian. I mean, you can see some bits of robot here, but, it's Cybertronian. That kind of just gels. You can see getting in front, you get some nice little bits of, vent detailing right there with the orange and gold. You got the yellow with the red Autobot right there. You got a bit of like a, kind of a implied engine detailing. You got the cockpit, which is nice translucent blue. You have the wheels here out in front. You can see the split, and that's because the wheels split for the transformation. A really clever move. Whatnot. You got, the bits for down in the line. You got, of course, the... You got the pipes right here as well. You got the huge spoiler. You can see how big that is. Everything back end is, you can kind of see it's this kind of a, just kind of folded up bits from the foot and whatnot. But yeah, overall, this is just really nice looking, honestly. It just works really well. Of course, you can kind of see the head right there. But yeah, on the bottom, you can see a bunch of stuff right there. But yeah, works really well. He rolls pretty decently. There is a bit of, I'm noticing possibly a bit of scraping, but it might be because I think I misaligned something, yeah. I think I misaligned them. Yeah, he rolls pretty decently overall. It's just really good. I'm kind of shocked by, well, not the vehicle mode itself, but the vehicle mode with the transformation and the final robot mode, considering what is source material, but yeah. It does have accessories, which I'm only bringing up because they can store on this mode. You got the little communicator thing, which right here, there's a little slot right there, which can tab in right here. So he's got his saw blade, which, there's a tab slot right there. You can then tab it in right there. Oh, accidentally, that's one thing I did. That's apparently I untabbed that. Get that can untab right there. You got the guns, which there's little slots right here, and those can both tab in. Make sure to support it, because otherwise there's a good chance that's just gonna pop loose. And the other gun, which you have to, you have to fold this part forward, but can also tab in. So there you go. You got weapon storage, because that's all the accessories, and they got storage for everything, which is nice. It looks a little goofy now, but hey, it can store away, and that's pretty cool. That it all stores away in alt mode. So yeah, doesn't have a high accessory count, but I'm kind of okay with that. Yeah, so I'm gonna pop that off and stuff. So, this is gonna be weird. So I'm gonna just do a couple comparisons here, but because of the nature, there's two third-party versions of this IDW Rodimus. I don't have either of them, so unfortunately I can't compare that. But I can do a couple comparisons with other Rodimus just to give you an idea of scale, I guess, because it's pretty clear scale is not really the foremost thing about this line. First off, here's the Studio Series 86 Hot Rod, because this is Rodimus, not Rodimus Prime, so, you can see, yeah, way bigger than the Studio Series, so that's one thing, so that's not going to work for Generations. And here's the Masterpiece Hot Rod, the MP28, which he's a bit bigger than, it's not a whole lot bigger, but it's noticeably larger than Hot Rod here, and which kind of gives you more of an idea about the that. So there's that. Because of the nature of it, here's the recent, what was it? Fractured Friendship or whatever, Hasbro, IDW Orion packs. Which, it's a little closer, I guess, if it's Orion packs. It's a little closer in the size, too. At least vehicle mode-wise. And, yeah, here's the MMC Optus Pexis, their version of IDW Orion packs. You can see, yeah, it's kind of a bit closer, I think, in size. I think this is probably one of the closer things when it comes to scaling. But you can see it's a bit large for both Generations and Masterpiece. At least right now. We'll see again in robot mode that it's still kind of more or less correct. But yeah, as a whole, though, this is not bad considering the IDW kind of did the whole the vehicle mode, and notice particularly towards later issues, kind of started emulating the third-party stuff. But overall, not a bad vehicle. I find it's pretty good looking for a Cybertronian IDW thing. But of course, the main thing here is the robot mode. So I'm going to go ahead and transform into the robot mode real quick, and we'll continue this review. And yeah, after a actually pretty pleasant and easy transformation, you get this alt mode, or robot mode, which is really good. To be honest, it's a really good robot mode. It's very IDW-esque, although it's based very heavily on the Flame Toys figure, which is like $400 something, and turn it into an actual transforming figure. And they did a really good job. They had to simplify some things because the Flame Toy version has a bajillion little parts that can move her and stuff, but it's still really good overall. Again, getting close, you can see it's really nice bit of, on the face, although they changed some stuff. Like this was initially yellow, but they changed it to red, I believe, for some reason or another, but, at the last second. But, got a nice little face sculpt. You got the nice blue eyes and gray face. Again, you got the yellow with red right there on the chest. The shoulders, again, look real good. You got the big old tall vents and everything. Some, gold and yellow and red down here. Even on the hands, have a bit of a, like, brownish, darkish red right there. They got the nice gunmetal right here for the exhaust pipes and everything. And yeah, that's lots of nice bits of detail picked out throughout. And yeah, again, a really clever transformation too, because like this I can't believe all this stuff's like twists around and stuff and forms the thigh like that. It's like, it's wild. And you got, again, more some red arrow bits right here on the kneecaps, and some nice, the wraparound exhaust pipes and the gray and the gold and everything. Just really looks great. And of course, back here, you got backpack, but it's Rodimus. Of course, he's supposed to have a backpack. And that all cleans up really well. He's got a big, huge spoiler and everything. It just looks really good. And yeah, you can see bits of diecast here and there too, like in the joints and whatnot. And it just looks really nice. He's not like super heavy or anything, but there's some weight here and there, but he's not like super heavy, which, as far as I'm concerned, is a good thing. He just looks really, really nice. And on top of that, he's super posable in his head. You got you can go left and right, you go up and down a bit, you got waggle, you can use the transformation joint, you can make him look really far down or kind of look really far up. And all that stuff, so that's really good. The shoulders are real nice because, technically you got four in the back. You have to get this out of the way, which, you can see this is on the hinge. You got multiple hinges right here, but, mostly this one works. You got hinges right there. You can do this, fold this, do with full 360. Again, you can adjust the angle, the wing, the spoiler if you want. You got outward. Again, you got that joint. You saw that right there. You got that outward, that far outward. Plus, you got this. You can adjust this slightly right here. You can adjust how these sit. I believe they're supposed to sit inward like this, but you can also have them straight up. You can have them flared out. I personally kind of have them more like straight up, although I believe they're supposed to technically go inward a bit. I'd prefer them a little more like that personally. I think that looks a little better. Well, actually, part of me also thinks that looks pretty good too, but the flared out a bit, but I don't know, it's more ostentatious and Rodimus would definitely like ostentatious. There was also butterfly joint in there. You can only get this far if you have the shoulder legs, but you have the arm forward, like for what you'd use a butterfly forward. You get that much butterfly. Actually, you can get quite a bit of butterfly if you get the arm out of the way. You can kind of get a lot of butterfly, which is real good. You got a bicep swivel right there. Of course, you got this nice little flash foot outward. You got nice bicep swivel. You got a double jointed elbow, so he's got a full curl. His hands are wrist swivel. Actually, they can also wiggle a little bit right there. You have a little bit of a wiggle around. Also, the hands can open and close. It's just a single hinge, but they can open and close. You do have a waist swivel right there. It's largely unhindered. Ab crunch. You have right here, the torso can move forward and back like that. And on top of that, this right here, what you do, they actually specifically call this out. You pull this down right here, the slider right here, you pull this down and gives you the room to get the upper ab crunch engaged, right? There's a hinge right up in here. So you can use that, and now you get a bit more. So he's actually got a pretty decent amount of ab crunch, and it looks pretty natural because, well, the whole thing curves. So yeah, it's actually pretty good. A pretty darn good set of ab crunch joints. Hip skirt stuff, you got this. You can see this one keeps popping itself down annoyingly. But yeah, it pretty much gets out of the way. This right here can fold out of the way like that. Now you can untab so you can get it really far out of the way. So yeah, you got the hips can go click forward and back. That's the only ratchet in the whole thing, but yeah, forward that far, back that far. Outward you have, getting this out of the way, pretty much the full splits, which is nice. Yeah, right there. There's a thigh swivel, which again is kind of amazing considering all that transformation stuff. There is a thigh swivel, and that's kind of amazing to me. Right there in the knees, you have a single knee, but it goes more than 90 degrees. You also have the knee pad. You can flare out and forward or whatever, however you want to do that. If you want to cover up the joint, if you want that to flare out, you got some options there. And also, yeah, his leg can actually move forward a little bit too. You can see that. I guess for if you want to do the really kind of wild heroic poses that you can kind of do with some robots. And there down the feet, you do have ankle tilt, not a whole ton, but you actually can also then hinge the foot forward like this. You actually have quite a bit of forward because of the transformation. You get so you can move the foot forward, you can move the foot back, you can also move the foot side to side. Yeah, so you do have a lot of posability options. Yeah, it's just it'll look good while doing it because it's Rodimus. Of course, it'll look good while doing it. Everything's about looking good, right? So yeah, it's really posable. Yeah, so I just really like that. Yeah, the accessories you saw him before, but he's got his guns, which you can hold those pretty easily. Just open the hand up, and it's not the masterpiece thing because you got this. But basically, there's a divot in the handle. You can see that, and there's a little tab in the back of the hand. And yeah, you have to open up the palm enough to get this slotted in. And then just close up the hand on it, and it actually holds it pretty securely. Once you get the hand fully closed, he holds the gun pretty securely. And this one, of course, you have to have this bit open so you can open up the hand and get the hand slotted, get it all slotted in, and then close that up around it. And then bring this around and right there like that. And now you got both his guns. So. Or you can take the guns and they combine, which is cool. So you get on top slotting that. And for this one, what you want to do is you want to fold the handle up and then bring this forward like that, and then extend that forward. And this will then go in the back like this. It's a lot like the old MP Rodimus Prime. That will go in right there. And this part right here, there's actually a little bit right here. You can actually in the back of this gun, you can extend that out a bit, and there you go. So you have his a rifle. What was it, a photon rifle or cannon or whatever it's called? Yeah, so you can have that, and he holds that pretty well, even one-handed. Of course, you got the communicator thing, got this, again, looking at it close, you got the nice gunmetal there. On this side, you actually do have some detailing as well. And this has got little notches in it. I believe it's kind of weird. Basically, you have to more or less, get that out of the way. More or less, you just have to put it in his hand, and that kind of goes into the notch, into the tab in his hand, but not really. Kind of goes in there, and just you have to just kind of wedge it in. It works, but it's whatever. It's a very whatever accessory, honestly. It's the one I'm probably gonna, just not really deal with too much. Because, well, if you don't want to, you can just take it out of his hand right here. And there's a tab right here. You just, well, put on his butt. Keeps it out of the way, and there you go. And, of course, the final accessory being the saw blade. And that, what you do is you take the hand here and rotate that and then, well, slide it out of off the hand like that. You just rotate and slide it off like there. And then you slide this on like that. And now he's got his saw blade arm. And the cool thing here, too, if you want to, change which hand it's on, because, you can put it in the other hand if you want. You can also change the orientation of this, which, this does spin. He's got a nice translucent thing. He's also got some nice little, like, detailing right here. You can see nice little bits of detailing, which are nice. Good. You can open this, actually, you can open this up. This is on a hinge, and you can take this and, rotate it around. And, so if you want to put it on the other, hand instead, that's an option. So there you go. That's pretty cool. And again, it just goes on the mushroom peg, and you can, deal with that as you want. And of course, this can also store away right here. There's this tab right here, which there's a slot right there, and you just tab it on like that, and there you go. So yeah, there's a gun. There's weapon storage for those things, which that's pretty nice. As for the guns. Unfortunately, as for the guns, well, yeah, you can't really store them anywhere. There's no storage spots on him, really, for the guns, just other than, well, his hands. So, that's a bit of a disappointment, but, personally, for me, not the worst thing. But, some people might be a little miffed about that. But, yeah, that's his accessories. Not a whole lot, but I am appreciative of that. And on top of that, well, in the robot mode, at the very least, you can have them somewhere on him, at least, even if, the guns are just in his hands. But you can have them all on him, so you don't have to, like, throw them back in the box. Which is great. So, yeah, some comparisons real quick. Again, the hot rods, again, you can see, this is what I mean. Like, here's, again, Studio Series 86 hot rod. You can see, yeah, he's a bit too big. He is way bigger than Studio Series 86 hot rod in this mode, so that doesn't work very well for a generation scale. And here's a Masterpiece MP28 hot rod, which he's only a bit taller, so I think you can kind of fudge, when it comes to MP, you can kind of fudge it a little bit. Because, it's one of those, you can kind of fudge it. He's a bit tall, but you can fudge him in, You can kind of fudge it a bit. But yeah, here's the Orion packs from Hasbro recently. Yeah, again, he's too big for generations. This is way too big for that. So there's that. And again, here's the MMC Optus Pexis, which, considering this is not Optimus, remember that. I feel this is actually okay. Size-wise, there we go. Size-wise, I feel like this is somewhat okay. This is Optus and Rodimus, or Orion Pax and Rodimus. This feels alright. I guess. Optimus would be a bit taller. This feels okay. It depends. I can't remember if Brian Pax got taller in the IDW, but whatever. So considering if this is supposed to be Orion Pax and Rodimus, it's not a bad scale, I think. So that's the MMC, though. So that's MMC's. So I guess scale is reformatted, although if I've seen the reformatted Rodimus is a little shorter than this, so I don't know. So yeah. Again, I feel like if he's going to scale with anything, if you fudge it, he'll work with your MPs. If you fudge it, but yeah. Yeah. Again, though, as a whole, this figure is amazing. He's really posable. His transformation's actually fun and clever. I find his alt mode is actually pretty good. It's again, for a Cybertronian thing, it's kind of pretty good. His robot mode is gorgeous. He's got a decent amount of accessories, but not so much that you're just kind of frustrated because now you have to put like a huge chunk of them back in the box or anything. He just works really well, and his transformation is also, even though it's simple, it's really clever and fun. So, and you got lots of options. And the only thing that would be, if you're a scale nut, this might kind of upset you because there's really where is this going to go in your collection? The answer is it doesn't really fit necessarily, except unless you're willing to like kind of fudge it a little bit, it might be able to fit with your MPs a little, although it's going to stand out just from stylistically it'll stand out. That's what I was going for. So yeah, The big thing here is this is also very expensive. This cost me, I got it from Amazon Japan, that cost me $195 total with shipping. He's not cheap, but he's worth it. And then on top of that, yeah, it's pretty clear the AMT line, or the Adamas Machina line, is basically, scale is not going to matter in that line. It doesn't scale with anything existing. It doesn't have its own scale, considering we've seen the second one will be Predaking, and Predaking we're seeing is, it looks like it might be roughly the same size as like the Legacy combiners, you know, like the recent Menasor and the upcoming Studio Series 86 Devastator, right? It's going to scale with that stuff roughly, maybe, kind of. So, but it seems like the Adamas Machina line is basically, here's a cool robot, have fun. And there's not going to be any real scale stuff. So, but it is a cool robot. It is, yeah, but it's also a $200 robot, and that's not cheap. He's great. If you can afford it, go for it. I think he's worth it, unless you just really hate the idea of it just doesn't scale with anything you own, necessarily. Go for it, but if you can afford it. But yeah, you might be priced out, unfortunately, just by the sheer, that price tag. So it's worth it, but I can understand why you might be hesitant. So just be aware of that. It is a $200 figure, and it wouldn't surprise me that Predaking winds up being $400, $500, $600 or something like that. They haven't confirmed the price, other than they only confirmed it's coming out next year at some point. So yeah, it's a fantastic figure. And if this is what we're going to get from this new Adamas Machina line, I am all for it. I'm just a little scared of what's going to cost. Because yeah, they're trying to compete with stuff like Soul Chogokin and whatnot. So we'll see how this works in the long run, but I rather like it, and I am very pleased with this purchase. And I would imagine that if you watching this and go for it, you'll probably be happy with it. Again, just know that scale is not really a thing here. So that's it for this review. I hope you found it informative and entertaining. I hope you like, comment, and subscribe. Check out my social media; it's down in the description and at the end of the video. Check out my Ko-fi, my Patreon, and I shall see you next time with another video review.